Hey, what's up everybody? This is JD Rich coming back at you with another One Piece video and discussion. Today, I'm discussing the aftermath of some of the brief spoilers that I've read for One Piece 1162. No, not the ones that were allegedly, you know what I'm saying, not real or fake or whatever, that clearly did not come out the way they were intended to be. I'm so sorry for misleading y'all on that, but like I dropped the real spoilers in my latest video that I did post. Now, a couple of points from the last release of new spoilers that just came out. There was a point where it said Rox defeats Garling. This raises my eyebrow because I had to do a video on it. It's like, how? I mean, obviously he probably bested him, you know what I'm saying? Obviously he bested him using his haki. We can assume that. Like right off the bat, I know it was more than likely Rox's Conqueror's haki that won him this battle. But how did this fight go down? How did this even occur? You know, and also, was it a point where Rox was actually saving Eris and Teach, and then Garling may have stepped in the fray and interrupted their little reunion, and Rox told Eris, like, yo, get Teach out of here. I'll meet y'all at Lucia. I got to deal with this dude. Probably, right? Probably. But them fighting one another, man, what I'm curious about is the combat itself, because obviously it came down to swords. But as I was speculating inside my last spoiler video, the real one, as I was speculating that what kind of ability that Garling may have, which I would interpret it to two conclusions. One, Garling is more than likely a sufficient haki user himself and probably has conquerors. I mean, Shanks grew up with it, you know, he was born with it, or Shanks maybe unlocked it when he was around Roger and whatnot, but he could have innately unlocked it by him being in Roger's presence, because Shanks could have just been potentially born with it. You know, Luffy was born with it as well. Like, I think there's two ways in the story as it confirms with Conqueror's haki. You can either be born with it or you can unlock it. Now, there are special cases where you're born with it and then you unlock it through special traumas or situations you've been through. But if it's a case where you weren't born with it, but yet you earn it through your actions and the will you carry, because you're so strong-willed, you just eventually end up, hey, you have this ability now. That could be the case as well, but we don't know. We don't know for sure until we get more explanation on it, but that's what we got to run with for right now. Now, as far as it goes with Garling and Rox xebex, I'm going out on the limb to say that more than likely Rox conquered haki the hell out of Garling. And well deserved too, because like think about what Rox is fighting for. He's on his homeland, his clan is being extinct, and this is the person, Garling, who started all this and put this all into play. Garling is the reason why the rabbit hunting contest is at God Valley. Garling is the reason why the Davy clan got discovered and now they're being led to a slaughter. So now you're fighting one of the most prominent members of the clan. You know what I'm saying? A carrier of Davy D. Jones's will himself. I believe most of the Davy clan members carry a piece of Davy Jones's will, but one person who adamantly carries the will of Davy Jones himself, Rox. So for Rox to be here and for Rox to be like trying to save his wife and kid, and then on top of that, I'm pretty sure Rox is concerned for his own people as well. For him to get into a confrontation with Garling, that may have been inevitable. You know, that probably could have not been avoided. But this is the thing though, how they end up coming to blows. I know they clashed swords. This is so exciting talking about this too, because they're both swordsmen. And as it said in the story, Rox is renowned for his swordsmanship. He's renowned for it. And being that you lead a crew of some of the most severe haki users that we've come to know in the story. Like, you got a whole crew of potential of like basic Conqueror's haki users, right? And you beat them all and they joined you because you beat them in a Davy back fight. So given the fact that Rox is a renowned swordsman and he has a crew of haki users under his belt, what level of haki is Rox sitting on? That's what I want to know. And on top of that, we should not be surprised that he defeats Garling. I mean, we should be surprised as in this spoiler just getting dropped on us like this. But the fact that he beats Garling like that, it didn't say, it didn't even specify whether it was easy difficulty or difficult at all. Not easy difficulty, whether it was high diff, low diff, mid diff, doesn't even specify, but it states that Rox defeated Garling. So this is amazing to me because this may tell me that if Garling did have Conqueror's Haki and they came to blows, clearly xebex Conqueror's Haki outskilled his and maybe outstrengthened his, because after all, the will of his clan, I would assume he would gain some type of, how can I say this, Dragon Ball Z term, Zenkai boost, given the fact that he's on his homeland, his people are being slaughtered, everything's on the line for him, his wife and kids. So yeah, he's got everything to fight for. This makes his will. I would naturally assume this strengthens Rox's will. Rox's will is already strong, but the fact that his wife and kid were damn near slaughtered, and the fact that his people are being led to a slaughter, his will is. This gives a boost because look at what he has to fight for. He has so much more to fight for. There's a lot on the line here. So Rox has no choice but to, he can't hold back anything as far as going all out with his strength, not letting anybody get in his way. Rox, he has everything on the line here, not just with his wife and kid, but his clan and his lineage. This has to, don't think that Rox is not affected by the loss of his people. He may not show it in the way we want him to show it, or even at all in these chapters, but in his mind, we can assume that Rox is thinking about his clan being led to a slaughter. And you're fighting the man who's responsible for that. You're fighting the main man who was responsible for that in figarland Garling. And I am so glad that Garling got his ass whooped, because after all, man, after what he did to Shanks' mom and Shamrock's mom, even though Shamrock grows up to be a prick under his tutelage, but after what he did to their mother, and then on top of that, everything he's done to the Davy clan, I'm glad, it's poetic justice that xebex served him his rights and gave him this work. So I'm very glad that xebex did it. And who knows who knows when the chapter comes out, what type of named attacks we may actually see from this. Because if this is going to be shown in the upcoming chapter, it may be a brief battle. We may get maybe 2 to 3, I'd say, if that, maybe a panel showing, at least we may get a panel page dedicated to that fight interaction, and it may be 2 pages long, maybe 3 pages. I'm hoping 4, but then again, we can't, I don't know. However they do it, they're going to do it, but I want to see this in action so bad. This is, a lot of things stood out to me from the spoilers, but this right here, I had to talk about. Rox, we're going to see a Rox versus Garling fight. And the thing is, we're supposed to get the Rox versus Roger fight. Don't think that Oda, the community hasn't forgotten. We still have to see the Rox, Garp, and Roger fight as well. But right now, we're getting a Rox and Garling fight. We're getting that coming up in the story, man. So I'm excited for this alone. I know so many people out there have been waiting for Garling to get his ass whooped. And what a perfect time and what a perfect person to do it than Rox himself, the man of the clan that Garling has led to a slaughter. This is justice. This is justice, and this is literally justice playing out right before our eyes. Now, how bad does Garling get defeated? We don't know. Does he get wounded? Does he suffer any type of scars or wounds as well? Because remember, Whitebeard, he told Shanks, seeing your face makes the wound from that guy ache again. So he was talking about Garling in there. So we do know that Garling does come to scar Whitebeard. Now, this just brings me to one thing. I'm just thinking this. Garling gets defeated by Rox, as it said in the spoiler. It didn't specify how bad at all. But it appears that Garling would come back and scar Whitebeard on his chest. Because at the end of the chapter from this spoiler, it's said that Whitebeard and Kaido actually take up arms and join side by side, standing with xebex, facing off against Saturn. And because Saturn is actually possessed by Emu in this chapter. Now, Rox defeated Garling, right? but Garling still somehow came to manage to scar Whitebeard on his chest. Now, could this have been Garling after the fact of getting defeated by rocks? Or could it have been a case where Garling did come back, but he also got possessed by Emu and ended up scarring Whitebeard? Because we see that Saturn is actually possessed. Because I think Emu can possess more than one person at his will if they wanted to. I don't think Emu is just strictly bogarted to or confined to just possessing one person at a time in his ranks and factions and whoever works up under him. So, given that Emu turned Dory and Bragi into demons, and also it's stated that Emu turned the rest of the remaining Davy clan into demons themselves, we could assume that Emu, yes, can possess more than one person at once. So let's say that Garling does come back into the fray after getting beat by xebex. Because if he didn't come back normal, but like wounded and then still managed to scar Whitebeard, I give Garling some credit on that as far as resilience and durability and maybe strength to be able to take such a beating from rocks and then come back and still give a scar to the second strongest person that Rocks has on his crew. Because as far as the ranks go when it comes to strength on Rocks' crew, we obviously got xebex at the top. I obviously do, right? Because he's the captain and whatnot. He beat them all and had they joined. But also, I would put Whitebeard as like the second strongest person on Rocks' crew. So for Garling to scar him, and then we get this spoiler about Rocks defeating him, what type of state was Garling in? Was Garling still hurt or recovering from him getting beat up by rocks when he scarred Whitebeard? Or was it a case where as Emu possessed Saturn, Emu also ended up possessing Garling and ended up having them fight Rocks, Kaido, and Whitebeard in this chapter we're about to get? Because listen, Rocks defeated, it's confirmed in the spoiler, Rocks defeated Garling. But we also can know from the story and what it's told us through Whitebeard's interaction with Shank, Garling somehow comes to scar Whitebeard on his chest. So that has to be fleshed out. I'm curious how that happened as well, especially if Rocks defeated Garling beforehand, because it doesn't say anything about Whitebeard getting his scar yet in any point of this flashback, not yet. But we get Rocks defeating Garling before Whitebeard gets his chest scar. This speaks a lot to me about Garling's strength, because he probably could have recovered and got up after the beating he took from Rocks. And it could have been a quick beating, we don't know. But all it said was that Rocks defeated Garling. We don't know to how bad and we don't know to what extent. But if it was just a quick where he knocked him out and stuff like that, and then Garling woke up a couple minutes later, ended up coming back into the fray and just got the action on with Whitebeard, whether he was possessed or not. But if he was possessed, and still got scarred, still I would assume that seeing Garling's face could remind, like, it didn't have to be no monstrous form. I would assume it doesn't have to be a monstrous form of Garling, who knows? But it could be Garling's face and, you know, the eyes, the emu eyes popping up. So Garling could have got possessed and had the emu eyes and still scarred Whitebeard, but the facial features were still there to where Whitebeard looks at Shanks and still thinks of Garling and thinks about that scar. But yeah, man, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this fight. Who would have thought that we would be getting Rocks versus Garling? Like, really? Who would have thought that we would have been really getting Rocks versus Garling? And on top of that, they're both swordsmen in their own way, in their own right. Rocks renowned for his swordsmanship, but it should also say, as the narrator put it, because, you know, it said he's renowned for his swordsmanship, but it should have also mentioned his hockey. It said that when Rocks, It said that when Rocks swings his sword, it's like the equivalent of cannon fire or something like that. So, and that's crazy too. For Rocks to defeat Garling, yet he didn't kill him, man. That's what's crazy to me. Rocks defeated Garling, yet it didn't say anything about him killing him. It just said he defeated him. But for Garling to be alive after all this time and then fight, like, maybe Rocks had no time to kill him, or I don't know. It seems like Rocks would be capable of deleting Garling in this chapter, in this flashback, especially given that they're going up against each other now. But yet Garling survived God Valley, obviously, and I think Emu may have been a big help to that. For Garling to be defeated by Rocks, and then for Garling to later scar Whitebeard in the same flashback, because Whitebeard and Kaido join up with Rocks to face Emu Saturn. So what if Garling found his way to where they were, got back up into the fray of battle, and he also got possessed by Emu, and Whitebeard took him on while Kaido and Rocks took on Saturn? Who knows? I'm just saying, this is my prediction. We don't know yet. The full spoilers aren't even out yet, so we may get more context on it, maybe not. But when a chapter comes out, I know we'll get a full explanation as to what's going on as far as Rocks and Garling, and then maybe chapters further ahead, or even in the chapter coming out, as we get Rocks versus Garling in the chapter coming out, we may get some hints as to Garling coming back and then going up against Whitebeard. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to give a brief, talk about that, man. That's all I wanted to do. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. I always enjoy the feedback and whatnot. And if you want to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to, helps the channel, helps the growth, and I love talking to you guys. So yeah, this is JD Rich coming back at you with another One Piece discussion. Just free thoughts, open mind, discussing Rocks versus Garling. So yeah, man, get at me, dog. One piece of life is life in one piece. Peace.